The LSAT is not a test that determines your future. Breathe out. Let's say it together. The LSAT is not a test that determines your future. It does not determine your future. Now, listen, wait, pause. It may determine whether you get accepted to this law school or that law school. It may determine whether you get this scholarship or that scholarship or no scholarship at all. But it does not determine your future in the sense of whether you're going to be a good law student. So to back up my thought or my thesis or theory, you know, whatever you want to call it, let's use me as an example. Some of you may have already know this about me, but for those that maybe this is your first introduction to Jazz Talk Soil, you're going to find out that I am a very open, a very honest person regarding my law school journey. So essentially, when I was studying for the LSAT, I had no idea what I was doing. Absolutely no idea. I thought it was just like a test you take in college. You study for a week or two, you cram, and then you just go take it. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm smart. I get A's, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be just fine. No, I took it twice. And my highest score was a 144. Yep, a 144. Y'all probably weren't guessing that. Y'all were probably thinking, ooh, I have a 150, 160. Someone said they thought I had a 170 on the LSAT. And I was like, you're really nice. You're really sweet. But the truth is my highest LSAT score was a 144. I didn't have Chad. But even if I did have Chad, I wasn't disciplined. And we're going to get to that in a second. My highest score was a 144. That was the second time. First time I took that, my score was a 140. And I was like, well, the first time I took it, I did the course online. Problem with that is I was like folding clothes, like doing any and everything else that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And they were just on the computer, you know, Chad was like doing his tutoring, or, you know, he was going through the lessons. And I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was like watching TV and he was just talking or whatever. So then I said, okay, well, let me take it in person. Maybe I'll be more focused. So I thought I was cute. I went to class every single time. Perfect attendance. They should have gave me a certificate. But guess what? I didn't do any of the work outside of class. Like I just thought, well, I go to class every single time, perfect attendance. I'm a killer at LSAT this time. No, because I didn't do any of the practice tests, any of the homework assignments. You know, I went to Hampton. So there was always something going on, you know. So as soon as I leave class, I'm going off to the party or going off to this organizational event or whatever. So, story short, I had a 144 LSAT. Thankfully, Mercer gave me an opportunity. But the problem was I went into Mercer Law thinking that my LSAT score was going to determine my future meaning my performance at Mercer Law. But thank God, because of the Black Law Student Association, my LSAT score did not determine my legal future. I got to Mercer, I joined BALSA, and I got some of the best big sisters and brothers. Some of the best big sisters and brothers that said, girl, we don't care what your LSAT score was. Some of these people got 160s and this, that, and the third, and they let it go to their head, and now they aren't taking law school as serious. So looking back, honestly, guys, I'm happy I got a 144. Can you imagine if, well, not you, I cannot imagine if I had went into Mercer with 170, my head would have been through the roof. And I'm like, I don't need to do this. I don't need questions, blah, 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 you know? Like, so I'm happy I had that 144. And I'm happy I had those big sisters from BALSA come into my life and say, no, you can still get A's. And this is how you get the A's. This is what you do. Do all these outlines, do all these practice questions, pay attention to class, don't get behind in class. You know, I had these big sisters in BALSA who just poured into me so much the same way that I pour into you guys. So long story short, I went on to finish my first semester in law school, not just well, but I finished my first semester on the dean's list. Yeah, the little girl with a 144 LSAT The little girl who didn't have a lawyer in her family, the little girl who didn't have anyone to talk to about law school, you know, a really bad pre-law advisor. Looking back though, I wish I had a me, right? People always, people that are in law school currently, they come up to me, or even lawyers, they come up to me all the time and they're like, oh, I wish I had you when I was going through the law school admissions process. And I'm like, I wish I had me too. I wish I, had more than just the course, because thankfully I got into the Sidley Austin Pre-Law Scholars Program, and I would definitely write that down. Actually, I'm going to put it in the chat. Pre-law, and they paid for my LSAT prep. But the problem is I didn't have an attorney Jazz to say, you can't just go to class and think that's all you have to do. I didn't have anyone to basically do what we're going to do right now. So to make a long story short, the LSAT is not a test that determines your future unless you just can't get out your head, unless you just can't put your score to the side. Literally, as soon as you walk into law school, day one, no one cares. No one cares about your LSAT score. I don't remember, like, maybe one time, I'm just going to just try to be fair. Maybe one time there may have been an LSAT discussion. I really don't remember it if there was. But no one is talking about their LSAT score once you start law school. It literally is just a test that, helps you through the law school application process. But once you start law school, it does not determine your future. I went on to graduate with honors. I went on to pass the bar after the first try. And now I'm helping you guys do well, very well on the LSAT. And it's not because I'm serving as your tutor, but I'm helping you master discipline. I'm helping you stay accountable with your studies, which is what I was not doing. So first, your LSAT score does not determine your future. And yep, as Chad said, once you're in, the LSAT score is just another number. That's it. It's just a number. That's it. So the second question is, how do you prepare for the LSAT? And it's so funny because people ask me that all the time. And I think the answer that I give them is not the answer that they're looking for, because there's no like quick formula or quick cheat code, but not so simple answer. I put it into a math equation, and as lawyers, we hate math, but it's so funny that I put this into like a math equation. So strategy plus discipline equals LSAT success. You cannot do well on the LSAT without both. You need strategy. You get those strategies from me. I'm going to help you create a study schedule. I'm going to help you talk through some timing exercises. I'm going to keep you on top of your sign-ins for your prep course. You need all these strategies in place. And then the other strategies you need come from Chad, come from the actual lesson. So he's going to teach you, this is how you approach assumption questions. This is how you approach logic games, and so forth and so forth. You need both. But you can have me, you can have Chad literally on your shoulders day in and day out. If you are not disciplined, you're wasting your money. You are wasting your money. You have to be disciplined, because guess what? On LSAT test day, Chad ain't going to be there. I'm not going to be there. Only you're going to be there. So you have to be disciplined. Like my biggest role model when it comes to discipline is none other than the queen herself, Beyonce. Can you imagine how much work she puts in to perfect her craft? And she's not just doing that work when she feels like it. This lady, oh my gosh, can you imagine how many times she probably performed and, practiced even when she was sick or her kids were driving her crazy or whatever? Like, you knew I was going to say Queen Bee. Of course you did. So the point is discipline, doing it when you don't feel like it. That's the key. That is the key. We're all motivated in the beginning, first week of LSAT prep, pictures, I'm studying, cute pictures, social media, like all that good stuff. But what about week 5, when you didn't get any sleep last night, when your boyfriend getting on your nerves, whatever, you got a flat tire, you're broke, like life happens. What happens then? Are you still disciplined? Chad, me, we can't do nothing for you. I can encourage you. I can tell you, listen, this is just a trial. This is just a test, but I need you to get to the library right now. But you have to go to the library. You have to be the one to actually do all those practice questions, to read all those explanations, etc. All right, so just to recap, strategy plus discipline equals LSAT success. Should you self-study or take an LSAT prep course? It really depends. Some people, and I think Chad should go into this a little bit more during his portion, some people can self-study, but from my experience, especially with working with my millennials, some type of guidance, whether it's Princeton Review, or maybe you start with Khan Academy, or maybe you get some type of prep books that go along with a course, something online. We need some type of guidance just to figure out the strategies. So the next question I get a lot of time is, well, I can't afford an LSAT prep course. Well, you can't really say that anymore. Why? Because there's actually a free LSAT prep course that's in partnership with LSAT now. So that's a starting base that you can start with. Not just that, but there's also a lot of scholarship offers, a lot of tutors and things that can bring that cost down. And there's also a lot more flexible options, such as paying $60 a month. I know there's a program out there like that, where it's all pre-recorded lectures, but there's so many more options. The only option isn't just, well, I'm not gonna say their name, but the only option isn't just paying $2,000 and you get this prep course. Like, there's way more flexible options. So I just want you guys to realize, like, it's not just this high price anymore. There's a lot more options out there. You just have, do your research, look into your resources, ask me. One thing that I have that a lot of you probably know about is the pre-law masterclass, and one of the lessons is totally dedicated to the LSAT. And in that lesson, we dive into the different LSAT prep programs. So, there's so many options out there. I don't want you guys to think that, it's just expensive and you just write off doing a prep course together. So something to think about when selecting the LSAT course and deciding to invest that money in yourself is what I just said. Look at it as an investment. So even if you do, decide to do a $2,000 LSAT prep program and you're disciplined and you implement their strategies, and now you get a full tuition scholarship. So instead of paying $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, to go to law school, you paid $2,000. Wasn't that worth the investment? So, some of us will say, oh, I can't afford it, but sometimes it's just we don't want to pay for it. But if you look at it as an investment, that may help you out. What LSAT score do you need? I get that question all the time, but let's really think about this. I cannot answer that for you if we haven't talked through your law school list. Your LSAT score, there's not just like a set score you need to go to law school. So for example, if you're interested in Mercer, if you're interested in Georgia State, if you're interested in Howard, interested in FAMU, all those schools, their median LSATs are somewhere between, I think FAMU is probably one of the lowest, like a 149, their median or something like that. But then Howard's is like a 151. And then you have Mercer, which is like a 152. Georgia State's like a 158 or something around that range. So there's no set score. It really just depends on the schools you're interested in. And once you form that law school list, from there, you can say, okay, these are the schools I'm looking at. These are their LSAT scores. So maybe I should aim for this score because that's pretty much in the range of all these schools that I'm considering. All right, last question. How many times should I take the LSAT? Chad is going to go into that in a little bit more detail, but I always tell people, don't just take the LSAT just to take it. There's so many practice tests out, don't go and do good this time, I'll just take it again. No, when you take that LSAT, when you pay $180, right? Listen, you need to be ready. You need to be prepared. You need to go into that test like, this is the only time I'm taking it. And if you need to take it again, fine. But go into it like this is one and done, right?